Hey Jake, you know how sometimes you start learning something new and it just feels like a slog? Like you're pushing a massive boulder uphill?
Oh, absolutely, Bob. Tell me about it. Especially with complex topics or a new language, it can be incredibly daunting. You get overwhelmed, lose motivation, and suddenly that new hobby is gathering dust.
Exactly. We've all been there. But what if I told you there's a brilliant Japanese philosophy, a technique, that doesn't just make learning easier, but potentially allows you to learn anything, literally anything, 10 times faster?
10 times faster. That's a bold claim, my friend, and my ears are definitely perked up. I mean, who wouldn't want to accelerate their learning curve that much? What's the secret sauce?
It's all about Kaizen. You've probably heard the term, right? It's a cornerstone of Japanese business philosophy, often associated with lean manufacturing and continuous improvement, but it applies beautifully, even profoundly, to personal development and learning.
Kaizen. Yeah, I know it as continuous improvement through small, incremental changes, but connecting that to learning anything 10 times faster feels like a bit of a leap for me. How do those small steps lead to such a dramatic speed increase?
That's the magic, Jake. See, the traditional way we approach learning is often like trying to scale a huge mountain in one go. We set massive goals, get overwhelmed, burn out, and then just quit. Kaizen flips that on its head. It's about making those small, consistent, almost ridiculously easy improvements every single day.
Okay, give me an example. Let's say I want to learn to code, a huge, overwhelming task. How does Kaizen apply there?
Great example. Instead of saying, I'm going to spend 3 hours coding tonight, which often leads to procrastination or burnout, Kaizen suggests starting with something tiny. Maybe you just commit to opening your coding editor for 5 minutes. Or you read one paragraph of a coding tutorial. Or you write a single line of code.
5 minutes. One line of code. That almost sounds counterintuitive to 10 times faster. My brain immediately goes, that's too slow.
And that's where most people miss the point. The power isn't in the size of the initial step, but in the consistency and the momentum it builds. When you commit to just 5 minutes, it's so easy to start. And what often happens after 5 minutes?
You probably keep going. Because you're already there, the barrier to entry is gone, and you're in the flow.
Exactly. The friction of getting started is the biggest killer of learning initiatives. Kaizen systematically dismantles that friction. By consistently taking those small steps, you build a habit, you build confidence, and you build a base of knowledge without ever feeling overwhelmed. And that consistency is what leads to exponential growth over time.
So it's about making the start so ridiculously easy that you never skip it. That makes sense. It's like sneaking past your brain's resistance. But how does this translate into 10 times faster? I can see it helping with consistency, but actual speed.
Well, think about it like this. If you consistently put in some effort every day, even if it's small, you're learning much more often than someone who tries to cram once a week for hours, gets burnt out, and then takes 2 weeks off. The cumulative effect of daily small wins is astronomical.
That's true. The spaced repetition aspect. You're constantly revisiting the material, strengthening those neural pathways. I remember trying to learn Spanish, and I'd do an hour on Monday, then nothing until Thursday. I'd forget half of what I learned by then.
Precisely. Kaizen is not just about small steps. It's also about identifying and eliminating what the Japanese call muda, or waste. In the context of learning, muda could be distractions, inefficient study methods, or even trying to learn things that aren't immediately relevant to your goal.
Oh, muda in learning. That's a big one. My phone vibrating, getting lost down an internet rabbit hole, trying to memorize every single detail when only the core concepts really matter at first. Guilty as charged on all counts.
Right? So a Kaizen approach would involve consciously minimizing those wastes. Maybe you dedicate 5 minutes to learning, but during those 5 minutes your phone is on airplane mode, your browser only has the necessary tabs open, and you're focused solely on that one tiny incremental learning task. That focused effort, even for a short burst, is incredibly powerful.
So it's not just the small steps, but the quality of those small steps. High-intensity, focused micro-sessions rather than long, distracted ones. I can definitely see how that would make a difference. It's like deep work, but in bite-sized pieces.
Exactly. And another crucial aspect of Kaizen is reflection and feedback. After your small learning session, take a moment. What did you just learn? What was difficult? What went well? This isn't just about putting in time, it's about thoughtful engagement.
Like a mini retrospective after each sprint, but for your personal learning. That would help you refine your approach too. If 5 minutes of reading isn't sticking, maybe you try 5 minutes of active recall instead the next day.
Precisely. It's an adaptive process. You're constantly experimenting, observing the results, and making tiny adjustments. This iterative refinement prevents you from wasting time on ineffective strategies and continually optimizes your learning path. It's like having a built-in GPS for mastery.
So it's not just about doing something small, but also about intending to improve that small thing every single time. How can I do this 1% better tomorrow?
That's the spirit, and that 1% improvement compounded daily, weekly, monthly, well, that's where the 10 times faster comes from. It's not a magic pill, it's the compounding interest of consistent mindful effort. Think about learning a musical instrument. You don't just pick it up and play a symphony.
Definitely not. I tried learning guitar once, and the sheer volume of things to learn, chords, scales, theory, strumming patterns, completely overwhelmed me. I spent hours practicing scales and just got frustrated.
Right. A Kaizen approach to guitar would be, today I'm going to perfectly play just one new chord transition, and I'll do it 10 times. Then tomorrow I'll review that and add one more. Or maybe I'll focus just on strumming a basic rhythm for 5 minutes, really getting that consistent. It removes the pressure and makes progress visible.
That makes so much more sense. My problem was trying to tackle too much at once, not getting anything perfect because I was spreading myself too thin. The idea of mastering one tiny thing before moving to the next, that creates a solid foundation.
And that solid foundation is crucial for speed. Because you're not constantly going back and relearning fundamental concepts. You've truly internalized them through consistent, deliberate practice. It's like building a skyscraper. You want each floor to be perfectly stable before you add the next.
I'm thinking about how this could apply to learning a language. Instead of trying to memorize 50 new words a day, which is usually unsustainable for me, maybe it's just 2 new words. But I use them in a sentence, I speak them aloud, I write them down, I review them the next day.
Exactly. 2 words, deeply learned, consistently reinforced, are infinitely more valuable than 50 words you vaguely remember and then forget by next week. And when you consistently do those 2 words well, you gain confidence. And that confidence is a huge motivator to keep going.
So it's building those micro victories, small wins that compound into massive progress. I can actually visualize this. It feels less like a chore and more like a series of achievable tasks.
Absolutely. And it removes the emotional burden. No more feeling guilty for not dedicating hours to something. You just need to commit to your 5 or 10 minutes of focused, incremental learning. That's it. And if you feel like doing more, fantastic, but the core commitment is tiny.
I think this also helps with breaking down complex subjects. If you're learning, say, astrophysics, instead of trying to grasp the entire universe, you start with one tiny concept, like what is a black hole at a very basic level, and you build from there.
Spot on. It's about creating an undeniable positive feedback loop. You do a small thing, you succeed, you feel good, you're motivated to do another small thing. And because these things are so small, you rarely fail, which keeps that motivation high.
Contrast that with the traditional approach. Set a huge goal, struggle, feel bad, quit. Kaizen sounds like a much more sustainable and enjoyable path to mastery.
It truly is. And one more thing, Kaizen also emphasizes standardization. Once you find a learning method that works for a particular topic, you standardize it. You make it your routine. So for example, if you find that flashcards work best for vocabulary, you integrate a 5-minute flashcard session into your daily routine.
So once you've experimented and found what's effective, you lock it in as a habit. That makes total sense. It removes decision fatigue and ensures you're consistently using your best strategies.
Exactly. So to recap the Kaizen Learning Hack, start small, incredibly small, to build consistency and momentum. Eliminate muda or waste by focusing intently during your short sessions. Reflect and adapt your approach based on what's working and what's not. And finally, standardize your effective learning methods into daily routines. Do all of this, and you're not just learning faster, you're building a lifelong skill of efficient, enjoyable, and deep learning.
That's incredibly powerful, Bob. I'm actually feeling motivated to tackle that coding project I've been putting off. Starting with just 5 minutes tomorrow seems entirely achievable.
That's the spirit, Jake. And that's the beauty of Kaizen. It transforms daunting challenges into a series of tiny, achievable steps, leading to incredible mastery. So next time you're facing a new learning goal, don't climb a mountain. Just take that first, tiny, deliberate step. You'll be amazed at how quickly you reach the summit.
I love it. It's truly a game changer. Thanks for breaking that down, Bob. I think we all needed to hear that. It's not about big leaps. It's about consistent, tiny improvements.
My pleasure, Jake. And that wraps up our dive into the Kaizen Learning Hack. We hope this inspires you to approach your learning goals with a fresh perspective and achieve mastery faster than you ever thought possible.